So today I'm going to be going over just a couple of my watches from my collection. A lot of them were actually gifted to me by my grandfather. So you'll hear that a lot throughout all of this. I have a pretty small collection, nothing super fancy. But one piece I really do want to highlight is this. So this is a Citizen Eco Drive. I'm not sure of the model or reference number. However, a really cool thing about Eco Drive is these are powered by sunlight. I know I find it quite intriguing. But how it works is this absorbs the heat from the sunlight into the dial and uses it to charge the battery. The science is beyond me. I will learn it someday, I promise. So the really cool thing about this, you might notice there are 3 pushers that this has, right? It has this one, the crown, which is used for setting the date and time. And then it has these 2. So this one will start the stopwatch function. So if I click that, the stopwatch is currently running. And if we let it run for a little bit, we can really see the effect of the movement. But if I want to tell where it stopped and pause that stopwatch, then all I need to do is just click the same top one again, and it stops, it pauses. Now, you might be wondering, how do you reset it after all of this? That's really easy. Just push the bottom one, and everything goes right back to the way it was before you started the chronograph. And you use the seconds hand on the dial is one of these little sub-dials. It's not the main seconds hand. So yeah, really nifty. That's how all chronographs work. So if you wanted to use your watch as a stopwatch, now you know. Moving on. Another watch from my grandfather. This one is also a Seiko. Now, this one I find a little bit more interesting because it has this cool blue dial. It's also a chronograph. Same thing. However, this one is not quite as nice as the Citizen that I just showed you, but it's still a beautiful watch. I really love the bracelet on this watch, but I love the dial color. Wonderful watch, also inherited from my grandfather. Another Seiko. There are a lot of Seikos on this list because my grandfather liked Seiko. As do I. I love Seiko. My dream watch is a Grand Seiko SBGE 269. Beautiful watch. But this one is the closest I can get for right now. So this watch is a diver's watch. And diver's watches are a little bit more complicated than chronographs, but a cool thing is they have this, you might have seen this on some Rolexes. They have this rotational bezel that is used by divers to perform calculations. Pretty interesting. I'm not a diver. I don't use it, but it also does have a chronograph function among these 3 pushers. That one is actually a gas escape valve. And then there's the crown. Very interesting watch. Pretty cool, if you ask me. Moving on, what next? Okay, so this one has a really interesting story behind it. Not really. I picked this one up from a woman who runs a watch shop in Hong Kong. And this one is a manual hand wound, so that means you have to wind the crown in order to get the watch to run. It has this nice blue leather strap. I just like the skeleton look of watches. I love being able to see inside watches, look at the inner workings. I find it fascinating. Then I have, of course, so many people have this now. It's not that unique, but it's modeled after the Omega Speedmaster. And the Omega Speedmaster for a long time was one of my very, very favorite watches. So this was gifted to me, and it's also a chronograph. So same type of thing. You'll see if I push the top, if I push the top pusher, it'll start, and then I pause it, and then reset. Really cool timepiece. of course, made out of bioceramic, but that's kind of Swatch's fancy word for plastic. Now, this watch is probably one of my favorites, also given to me by my grandfather. This one is a Seiko Kotura. It's a world time, which means it can simultaneously tell the time of anywhere in the world, unlike a GMT function, which can only tell 2 time zones, sometimes 3, if you're lucky. But this watch was also gifted to me. It's also a chronograph, a lot of chronographs, right? So if I push the top pusher, it would run, bottom pusher, it wouldn't. This one is, unfortunately, the movement is rusted. I need to perform some repairs on this one, but this one is one of my nicest condition watches and is honestly one of my favorites. And then this is my daily wear. You can't go wrong with this. You probably see these everywhere, but that's because they are a wonderful daily watch, great value. Honestly, I can't think of a better watch to wear daily. The screen is readable and easy. It lights up. I mean, it has an alarm function even. Like, what could you not want? So that's my entire collection in a nutshell. I'll go more into depth on some of these watches and more that I will borrow from some friends as time goes on, just so that I can give you guys the best experience. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll go deeper into chronographs and divers watches and what a good daily watch is, all of that on this channel. So make sure you tune in. Thank you.